Wow, that was the Flying Scotsman. Welcome to Partickhill Station. Welcome back to the station. I'm Charlie. Well, it's Friday afternoon and time for another video and a whine about Streamyard. There's somebody in there already, which is great. Maybe it's me. So if you can give me a check on the audio, that would be great. Well, there's somebody else. Okay, I've probably just imaged myself. So I hope you can hear me. Please let me know. All right. So we're down to 0 again. So today's probably a busy day on YouTube with a number of guys posting. I know that Jason at Barnabas Junction is on at 2 or 3 o'clock. Dave down at Scott Rails, he's on later this evening. I imagine Anthony Dodge will also be on. Well, it looks as if my Blue Yeti is working, and that's good. I've changed things up today, repositioned 1 or 2 of the cameras just to get a different view. Willow Creek. Oh, excellent, Brad. How are you today? Maybe I'll invite you in later because I presume tomorrow or your day today is a day off. So it's day 4 of 9 and the countdown is on. It's the whole StreamYard thing is quite controversial. I've been checking online and there's a number of people who are just disgusted by the practice of negative billing and lots of people bailing out because they can't afford to pay the $45 US. So we are not alone. I'm just going to let things run for a second while I get something. Yeah, my notes for today were in another room. So maybe somebody can give me a heads up if I'm encroaching on anybody else's time today. I'm always very sensitive to that. I don't like to jump in and take up other people's time. But, you know, there isn't a schedule. And as I said, I know there are a few guys that are posting sometime today. So, Brad, how's the weather down under? I guess it must be improving, because you'll be, what you're approaching, let's see, you must be approaching spring. I've got my thinking cap on correctly. So that's an APT coming through the station there. Turned out it was a bit of a failure, because it tilts when it goes round curves. And there were complaints from many passengers. Yes, 7, that's pretty good. So, you know, we're down about 0 today. We had a sprinkling of snow last night. So we're going in the opposite direction, as you know. That's why when, you know, when I travelled down there, excuse me, I think it was February, I went down at least the one time. So the weather was improving, or you were going into your fall at that time. You were at the latter end of the summer. And when I went on that cruise from Auckland, the weather it was nice, really nice in Auckland, in that general area. But as we sailed south, the temperature began to drop off. By the time we got to Dunedin, Christchurch, these places, it was a little bit cooler. And then we sailed over to Hobart, and yeah, it was cooler there also. So these are something a little bit different today. The APT train and that 4F pulling the crane, and the maintenance coach. Now, that's probably not prototypical, but you know, it's my layout. I can run what I want, and it's nice to be able to put a selection of stuff on at any given time. So it's 12:04 here, which means it's 5:04 in the UK. I'm guessing the guys are having their supper, or they've just decided to ignore me en masse, but that's okay. The real followers shall return, but we'll have to wait and see in that. So what's on for you today, Brad? Klondike. Hey, good morning, John. How are you? Oh, bit of a derailment there. The APT train is a bit temperamental. because they have a shared bogie between a couple of the carriages, and they're a sort of different type of connector. There's one set of connectors that poke into each other, and they are they're on one or two of the coaches. The other ones, it's another kind of slotting thing, different. I'm sure and those ones are on that shared bogie, and that's probably why they have a different connector. Yeah, that's great, Sean. You know, when you said GSM models, I went searching for it to see where it might be. And I didn't find what I was looking for. So maybe you can remind us that 2-arch one, how much does that cost? Because that's a neat little package. And I probably misunderstood about the GSM thing, unless that's your company name. Maybe just put a note on there about it. Yeah, there's a different view for you. That's just a little temporary platform. This track here, that's going to be a shuttle end-to-end track. I've got it wired up. I just have to connect it and add in a 5-volt adapter power unit, and then I'll be able to run a local commuter train, let's say, and show you. So it'll come from there and it will come all the way around here. Just around there, and it will stop there for a specific period of time. Good afternoon or good evening, Lee. Have you had your supper? Yeah, Tom, I was just talking about my shuttle. So on a long list of things to complete, you know, there's the board. I've got it partially wired. And I'm just wondering, when I put the wires in, I'm assuming I need to crimp. I need to crimp those so that it doesn't pull out. And then there's a little power unit, and I have a 5-volt adapter. So I think I've sort of got everything I need. Yeah, it's 11 minutes after noon, after 12 here. So, just so that you can all pick up on this, after Klondike was on, I went looking for the model bridge. I couldn't find it. I was looking under JSM, JS models, and yeah, I couldn't locate it. Anyway, he just clarified that he makes the kit and sells it. So that is fantastic. I love to hear that type of business model, or hobby business model. That's just outstanding. So I've asked them to let me know what the cost is for that, the double arch one, because I think I might order that, and I can have it sent to my daughter in Nashville, and I can pick it up there, and you don't have to worry about postage to Canada and paperwork and stuff like that, and it will save me a couple of dollars. So I was just saying to Brad, and Brad's on from New Zealand, which is outstanding, how far we can reach. I was just saying that crane train, it's probably not prototypical, and I bet you Clive would love to have that carriage. I know he's got one, but he'd probably like to have that one. And who knows? And that's the first time it's been on the track. It's never been out the box. I can't remember exactly when or where I got it. And Sean, that is fantastic. I'll buy one when I get off of this. Just maybe send me the details, the website, whatever, and I'll send you the payment and the address. I'm definitely in for that. That's fantastic. I just loved that when you had it out there, and I'm sure it would fit into all kinds of layouts. I know I will find a spot for it here. You know, that's the thing about going into the States. Fantastic bridges down there. You go down around Pittsburgh or New York City, it's just incredible, the number and style of bridges that they've got. And most of them are pretty old now and need replacement. Because I know there's been horror stories, and I knew some people that died when part of an elevated highway collapsed. They were on their way back up from Florida. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that up there for a while so that more guys can see it as they come on, and I'll comment on it. So I was saying earlier to Brad that I was scouting around YouTube and Instagram, wherever, and there's a growing number of people dissatisfied with Streamyard. That was a very asinine business management decision that they made. It's going to leave a very bad taste in people's mouths. So, Tom, I was saying, and I don't have a schedule. I think we need to get a schedule drawn up of who is on where and when, because I just don't want to tread on anybody's toes. But I don't know if it was you or somebody else that said, well, there's no schedule, it's pot luck, whoever's on first. And anyway, we're all big boys. We can make our own decisions what we want to watch and what you want to listen to, or who you want to listen to. Now, that APT slows down and comes to a stop in that one corner. And, it's slow speeds, that is. Now, there has been some discussion about how you wire your layout and, the drop off over the length of the track. But also with the APT, as you know, it tilts, and there must be some rotation of the axles as it goes around that bend, and the momentum. Hey, Clive, we were just talking about you. Your ears must be burning. I'm going to put this on. There you go, Clive. That one there was especially for you. So let's just see what comes up. Did you see that, Clive? There you go. Look, how about that? I know you covet that, but I know you have one. And this one, it's the first time on the track. Okay, let's see what Tom says. It's a bit of potluck at the moment. I, at the H&H Express N scale, used to keep the schedule, but that has fallen by the wayside. Dave, Scott Rails, how are you? And there's more, man. Good afternoon. Thank you both for dropping by. Dave, I know you're a busy guy and you're getting ready for your show tonight at 8 o'clock. So if anybody's awake over in the UK, tune into Scott Rails' show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Clive, did you get anything in the mail today? Lintree, how are you? We've had no broadband most of the week, so struggling to be on, but back on for now. And that is a real pain. Nothing worse. There's the more, man. Yeah, I know what you mean, Dave. That APT is difficult to put together. It's got, the shared axles. I'll just stop it for a minute. Just hang on here. Yeah. I'm just going to wait until the APT comes round here. Yeah, just to give you a better look. You see, power car and the carriage share that axle. And then, well, this is actually the power carriage. You can see it's got a different type of coupling. So you're dealing with two different couplings on the one train. And that's you have to stretch over like 2.5 feet or 2 feet to get to it. It's a bit of a pain. Mike, let's see here. Yeah, make sure you take a rest every now and again, Dave. Micro LEDs for the buildings. So are you linking them all together, or are you doing them individual? And are you powering them from a 9-volt battery, or have you got it hooked up to, I don't know, 5-volt, 9-volt, whatever? Maybe you can explain that. Oh, okay. So there you go. If anybody's interested in Klondike's laser cut bridges, just search for Klondike, and it will come up, and you get your pricing there. Now, I'm not sure if he's able to do overseas stuff, because and there is a general reluctance in the US to do that because of the increased costs and the documentation that you've got to prepare. But you can always ask. But anybody else that's tuning in around the US, which there might be some, and guys here in Canada, very worthwhile to go onto Klondike's site and order one of his bridges. So the APT is holding up quite well, albeit that it slows. Yeah, it slows in that corner over there. Otherwise, it runs fairly well. And I do have 2 of those. I lucked out. I was at 2 different shows, maybe a year apart, and one of them had it. There was a dealer, and then behind them there was a couple of chairs, and he had an APT in a box sitting there, and I think it $95 or $100 on it. Now, he was a North American Model Railroads guy, and I said, "Oh, excuse me, is that the best price for that set over there?" And he says, "Yeah, it's here in consignment. Yeah, that's his price." I said, "Okay, I'll take it." And there I ended up with an APT set for $100. And another time, more or less the same situation. I was at this show, and it was all about timing. And I saw this APT set sitting under a couple of boxes, and I nailed that one, I think, for the same price. So, as I say, the only complaint I have with it is putting it together. It's a real pain to set up those 2 different connectors, couplings. There'll be for different buildings and factory complexes. They'll be powered from a bus with drop-down buck converters, and some will be on light sequences, probably Arduino. You're such a smart guy, Clive. I could learn loads from you. And I'll look forward to seeing your tutorial on that. Yeah, Dave, it does. Just see if we can. You can see it just tilting ever so slightly there as it goes around the bend. You might see it there. There you go. You see it tilting a little bit. Sorry about that. So, yeah, they did a great job of designing it so that it would tilt. As I said, the biggest issue is the connectors. And I've got the pantograph for it as well. It's got a ring-fueled motor, and it's held up pretty well, although I have serviced it, both of them. Yeah, you see it's slowing down there. And I suspect it's because it's tilting. Or maybe there's just a drop off of current up there. Yeah, well, next time, Tom, I'll take the body off and show you it. I guess the body is able to rotate on X and Y from the vertical. Sorry, on the X axis. From the vertical, there's a shaft in the middle that facilitates that movement, as well as the horizontal movement to allow the train to go around curves. Okay, we'll see you later. Thanks for dropping by, Clive. I know you'll be very busy after dinner also, and I'll see you on other platforms, I'm sure. So at this point, I'm going to take a little bit of time to give you some sites that you might want to visit if you haven't already done so. Some popular YouTube channels that I frequent. Bluffers to Bluffers. Now, I think these guys, two comedians, I think they're located in Exeter somewhere, and they have a great comic act going on, and they play off each other, and they've got a great layout, or at least they had. I think they've been offline for a while, but they're a great layout. They do great stuff in building it and modifying it and painting, weathering, everything related to a layout. Really outstanding and thoroughly enjoyable. So, Bluffers to Bluffers. So make sure you look them up. And Mark Hemel Down, you all know Mark. He's got a new way of showing his layout. It's on a kind of subscription base. I didn't quite figure it out, but I'll get an understanding of it later. But yeah, check Mark's layout out, because he built like a 9, 10, 11 arch bridge viaduct, and it's a piece de resistance of his layout. Just fantastic looking. Another guy whom I really love listening to and watching is Double O Dave, another comedian and modeler extraordinaire, and always tells a great story about the people who populate his layout. So that's Double O Dave. Now, another one is Bunter's Yard. And I've been following Bunter's Yard also, like these other two guys, for quite some time. And Dave does, he does 3D printing. He does interesting stuff with his rolling stock. Great layout to watch. Great content. Should also be high on your list. Now, if you want something to do a little bit of modeling with card and other interesting little bits and pieces. There's a young guy here, Metro Portal Cabin. If you just do a search for Metro Portal Cabin, it'll come up, and he's downloaded, I think it's scale scenery models, whatever, and it's a portal cabin, and he takes you through his process of building this cabin, and it would be a great addition. And he's a young guy; he's doing his best to build his channel, so maybe show him some support. Now, I'm just going to show you something here. One of my pieces that I did. Unfortunately, we've got a postage strike here. It's been on for a few weeks now. And I would often send these out as Christmas cards, but can't do it this year. But if you're interested in receiving one, I've got a few different ones, but you can always drop me a note and let me know. In fact, if you were a recipient of one of my giveaways, you might have received one of those in the package that I sent you. I don't recall for sure. Now, another guy here in North America who is one of my favorite modelers, and incredible stuff. What an artist, a designer, modeler, just phenomenal layout that he's got, and he's in the process of demolishing it. And it's really too bad because everything is all set in place and glued, and he's trying to figure out how much he can salvage from the layout that he wants to reuse when he does another one that he's planning to do. And that is FOS scale models. FOS scale models. They're just wonderful, wonderful modeling and artistic talent. Just mind-boggling, actually. It's just amazing what you can accomplish if you set your mind to it. You may not have the abilities of guys like this, but start off small and start building. As you can see, the beam for that was purchased from Scale Model Scenery, and I thought I was getting the mast with it, the columns, but I was mistaken. So I built the mast myself out of plastic card. Once I sketched it out, I knew what I wanted in it, and I believed that it would work. Then I just went ahead and did it, and it did work. I should make some more, and there's a whole story behind the height. This isn't the correct height. It should be a bit taller, but it's good for a beginner, and it's not only a scenic break, but it adds something to the layout where this station is in transition between steam, diesel, and electric. Yeah, that'd be great, Lee. Terrific. Now, another one is an oldie but a goodie. Once more here in North America, and you may be familiar with Ron's Trains and Things. Ron is an experienced model railroad guy and a great modeler. He also does electrics, and he knows about sort of every aspect of the hobby, and so interesting to watch him work and see what he does. And I recently watched his video where he was in Florida, and he was on the Atlantic side. I think it was the South Florida Model Railroad Club. I think that's what it was. And yeah, great show and lots of interesting stuff. So that's Ron's Trains and Things. I certainly recommend Ron. And I've shown this before, but it's really just a little cardboard box that I put together with a door and a window. It looks as if that might be one of those explosive-proof windows. So the contents of the building might be dangerous, but obviously hasn't been used for some time. But it's really simple. Now for Alan Reynolds, Buckland Junction. How good of you to drop by. I hope you're doing well, Alan, and keep busy, and it's not too cold for you up in the loft. If it is, I know you'll be busy there making. So another two guys that I'd like to mention, I recommend that you go and visit their layout of their YouTube channel, and that's John at Piccadilly Model Railways. John's got a mind-blowing N-gauge layout. He's built himself, most of which it was built from paper and card. It is unbelievable, just unbelievable content. And he's once again in the process of expanding its reach. It's fascinating, just absolutely fascinating to watch him work. And he gives a great commentary, and that in itself takes a lot of skill. I've been out doing some sketching, and people would come by and go, "Oh, hi," and I'd stop, "Hi, how are you?" And then it'd lead into a conversation, and then I would try to start sketching or painting, and it was difficult to concentrate because they were chatting. But they'd eventually say, "Oh, I'll let you carry on, thank you," etc., going away. But even if I've done the odd art YouTube thing or modeling, and I've been trying to describe as I'm doing it, and that takes a lot of concentration if you want to stay on track. So to John at Piccadilly, wow, it's just incredible talent for what he does in terms of modeling, and incredible talent to be able to walk and talk at the same time, if you know what I mean. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Lee. Always good to have you on here. You received your Christmas card and fences. What happened to my Christmas card? I guess I won't get any this year because of the postage strike, but that's okay, lads. I know you mean well. And the last one on my list that I've got here is budget model railways. Father and son team do a terrific job. Everything is small at their place. They do small layouts. They encourage people to build small. There's no excuse not to have a layout. You can have a layout in a suitcase if you want, as they've demonstrated. And, they do great things, share it with the community, promote the hobby wherever they go. And they always take along one or two of their sample mini railways, like just terrific stuff. All right, so I'm going to put a link in if anybody wants to come on for a couple of minutes. Because I know not everybody's got all day, and we have to move on. So if anybody, maybe Brad down there at Willow Creek, New Zealand, anybody's welcome to come in and join in. You're back. Yeah, I don't like wearing those earplugs because there's a delay. So Tom, you've been sending everybody cards. Yeah, as I say, if anybody wants to join in. Yeah, you'll get indigestion. What did you have for lunch? Or dinner, sorry. Get this around, around. There you go. Yeah, that'll do, Tom. No pressure, mind you. So, Clive, if you're looking for a nice bridge for your new layout, have a look at Klondike's double arch bridge kit. I'm not sure if they'd be able to send it to you, but it's worth having a look. So we got a sprinkling of snow last night. It didn't stay, of course. There's a little bit on some of the roofs, but that's we've been pretty lucky, given that often in November we'd have a lot of snow, and in fact, I had snow tires put onto my wife's car, and my car will probably sit in the garage through the winter, because I decided I wasn't going to run it much in the winter because I've got a rust problem on the underside, and I'm having to replace a brace at the front end that goes between the two wheels. Very difficult to come by. Yeah, thanks, Hot Dog. Very kind of you, and welcome to the station. We'll all be having a wee dram, as they say. Just chips and cheese pasta. Anyway, as I was saying, here's hey, Klondike, if you just hang on, I'm going to pull Brad in because Brad's in from New Zealand. So let's just see.
Hello, everyone. Everyone hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
Yeah. How's everybody going today, this evening?
Yeah.
Very good. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah, just showing the latest extension and the bits I've been working on, with the aggregate supplier at the left and then the scenery at the right, and yeah, the last little bit of the spur, last little extension.
So did you build that coaling tower?
Yeah, it's the Walther's aggregate bins. Yeah, so it's quite a good little kit.
Is it a kit? Was it a kit, or did you scratch build?
No, that's a kit. That's the Walther's kit. Yeah. So it's still got a lot of work to do to it, and there's conveyors to go on the side of it as well, to make it look a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, that's a nice flat building there.
Oh, yeah, the one at the side. Yeah, that's a it's quite a nice one. That's another Walther's kit as well. Yeah.
if you have a look at Boomer's diorama,
Yep.
he's got a long end-to-end layout with some real nice buildings on it. It's worth just watching to see how he designs and builds them.
Yeah, he's quite good. I've watched a couple of his videos where he just basically sheets the wooden framework with that plastic with the evergreen. So it looks quite good. But yeah,
so is all of your layout working, or
yeah,
or have you not finished the wiring?
No, I've done all the wiring. The wiring's only on my layout. There's only 2 feeders on my layout, and the rest is done through rail joiners, and I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever.
Oh, great.
It's DC, so it just, the benefit of taking your time laying the track works out in the end. Yeah, so she's it's just scenery now, and just making some extra. Well, that's the last building at the very end that you see there, the aggregate bins, but that's it.
Yeah, well, looks great.
Cheers, thank you. Yeah, it's all modular as well, so it can be taken out of this room very, very easily. So
do you take it around?
No, I don't. I won't take it to shows or anything like that. I could possibly do that, but it's purely for my entertainment, I suppose.
Well, that's great. Thanks for the update.
That's all right. No worries at all.
Please remember to do so moving forward.
Yeah, no, it's always good to share what I've been up to.
Yeah.
Now and again.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all good.
Klondike was he was trying to come on there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he'll jump back in again. And there's Leopard's Tail. Hey, listen, I take my hat off to you, really. So if you guys out there haven't watched today's video, I watched it this morning from Leopard's Tail, and I was blown away by his modeling skills. And as I said to you, I've been familiar with Blender for a number of years, but as someone said, oh yeah, it's organic, and therefore it works extremely well for concept art and film and TV and all that kind of stuff. And I never jumped onto I never jumped onto. Just hang on a second here to get this. Escape. Excuse me while I rabbit on for a second. I never put it together that Blender could be used in a sort of 2D orthographic system and turn out STL files that we could all use. And Leopard's Tail has just shown us exactly what's possible, and he's made this a series of experimental wagons, and each one became better than the last. And now he's got a fabulous little wagon there that I think eventually it will be available for sale. He gives a price. Well, he's only estimating, but saying it might be £3 for a wagon. So if you got 20 wagons, it might be worthwhile. Anyway, let's see what Klondike's got to say.
Oh. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Excuse me. Is my mic working?
Yeah, you're working.
Okay, good.
So what have you been up to?
Today I'm actually working out in the shop. As you can see, I'm not down in my dungeon. I'm out playing with my my lasers.
Yeah, I see that in your right hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, that girl's new. This is my old one here. I've had her for 13 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So, if you don't mind me asking, what's your background that led you into this?
That's a good question. I've worked on jets and planes and stuff, and I've always admired trains. If you look back at my real earlier videos, I did a station house. It was all HO. But yeah, engineering, I guess. I love engineering.
Oh, you were with McDonnell Douglas.
Yes, sir.
Or, yeah. Yeah.
McDonnell Douglas Aircraft Company when I was out in California. I worked at
Yeah.
both Torrance and Long Beach facility. I worked on.
Did you meet Howard Hughes?
No. That would have been neat.
I was on the Spruce Goose when it was located in Long Beach.
Okay, yeah, I've been there. It was next to the Queen Mary.
It was unbelievable.
Big.
Enormous.
Yeah, that was a sight to behold. I think they moved it up to Oregon, if I'm correct.
Yeah, they did. They towed it up in a barge.
Mm-hmm. That was neat. That was neat to see. I got to see photos and stuff of it. Yeah, I'm glad it's still visible to the public. That's a cool part of history.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it's really unfortunate that it never continued. You know, he's just that type of person that's, oh, well, I had it flying. That's it. I've proved the point.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have taken a whole battalion and more.
Oh, yeah, it was huge. I don't know what it was ever certified for as far as weight, but yeah, I can hold a lot of stuff. I mean, today we have modern engines and everything in big aircraft, but back then when you look at it, it was a heck of an achievement.
Yeah. And it was very personal for him.
Yeah.
And too bad he came to a sorry end.
Life is interesting.
Yeah. So what are you doing today?
Actually, right now I'm working in Fusion.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on a 3D model for a friend. And then I'm waiting for a main part for my CNC router. So I can do a little catching up. These machines use water chillers.
Yeah.
And when this is new. I mean, really new. The water chiller that was supposed to come with it, they sent the wrong one, so I'm patiently waiting. Hopefully today it shows up.
And what model is that?
This one is an Ohmtech, and that's 100 watt. And then this one is a Morn LT960. Oh, MTL 960.
100 watts, pretty powerful.
Yeah. The nice thing though is, you know, if you stick your hand in the beam and the focus beam, it'll catch you, but it'll cauterize it so you don't bleed. Kind of cool.
Wow.
No, they work great with materials that I use.
So can I ask you what the model is you're working on?
Right now this is for the Bamboo Labs. Actually, I wonder if I can show you. Where's my OBS? What I'm working on, it's an old plate from Yellowstone Park National Park, and with the Bamboo Lab printers, you can do multiple colors. Mine, I have the A1, so I can do 4 colors. And what I've created are backlit lights. So it's a stand, and then I can 3D print a multicolor sign, and then when you put lights behind it, it lights it up really nice. You can kind of get this. This was a face right there.
Yeah.
That's actually a face from one of my lights.
Well, is that right?
And it's 3D.
So how big will it be?
8.5 inches round, and then the stand itself is probably about almost a foot tall.
Wow.
Let's see if I can do a window cap.
So is that a stack of boards behind you?
Oh,
is that carved or what?
This is actually one of the kits here in the bag. This is a single straight, and then this is pre. This is before I cut it. Everything's on a flat, and then these are the laser, and I cut out whatever module needs to be. Be it a single or a double. And then I use my CNC router on the triples.
Well, I'll be ordering the one you showed yesterday, the double arch.
Oh, okay.
And you can send it to Tennessee for me.
Oh, that'll work. Yeah, right now shipping, it's, I don't understand it. I mean, Canada is just right up north. Why they have all these things going on, I don't know.
I'll tell you, I bought something on eBay yesterday, and it's a gift for somebody I know. It's a tricorder from Star Trek.
Oh, cool.
Right. So I think the guy was asking for $50 US, but wanted $30 to post it to Toronto. And he's up somewhere in the northern states, not that far away. So I said to him, how much would it cost if you sent it to Nashville? Well, he said $750.
Yeah.
I heard, right, okay. I made him an offer for it. He accepted it, and it's going to Nashville, and I'll pick it up at Christmas. Oh, wow, look at that.
So this is actually what I'm working on right now. Kind of a fiasco, but let's see if I can. So, but besides train items, I do things for friends and family.
So maybe you can explain. You've run a line around the whole design, and then you've got the nodes, I think they're called, around that line. And then you can pull on the node to change the line. Yeah.
Something like here.
Yeah. Yeah, you can smooth the curve out.
Yeah, and right now that's what I'm doing is I'm going through it all and trying to close it all up so I can 3D print it.
That's an awful lot of work. I mean, I appreciate it because I know the software, and it's a huge amount of work.
It's been a challenge. I think I started at about 7 o'clock last night, worked till 2, and then I've been working on it for the last hour and a half, listening to you.
Wow. Well, mind you, if it's not just a one-off, it will pay for itself.
Very true. Well, it's like the Union Pacifics and the BNSFs and those. So once it's done, yeah, you're right. You can utilize it time and time again.
Yeah, but that is a lot of work.
It's not bad if you're willing to take the time. You can. It's easy to pick up. It's just time. once you pick it up, you don't have to use the full scope of Fusion or any CAD program. You can use what you need.
Yeah. Yeah, as we discussed the other day, Tinkercad and ECAD, SCAD are good introductory software packages. And I would advocate for anybody who's remotely interested to jump in and try those.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll light the spark. You know, who knows where it will take you. And then it's a case of, okay, I've got my layout here in this room that I was afforded by my better half. And then in the adjacent room, I've got my computer and an artboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then where would I put a laser cutter?
Well, the nice thing, I mean, these are, you know, for manufacturing. They're industrial, especially.
Yeah.
Well, that one right there. But you can get these nice diode lasers that are, you know, 10 to 40 watt power, and especially in N scale, because you're not cutting thick material. You know, you can get card stock and I think up to like 1/8 inch MDF, just fine with those. And you can pick those up for, you know, a couple of $100 now. Unlike it used to be. I mean, I'm not going to say how much I paid for this because it's
I know.
Yeah. Nowadays they're getting better in price. So if you have room and you have the money to spend, but for the hobbyist, I'd recommend getting a diode laser like Creality has one. I think it's only like $250.
Yeah, I saw one. I don't know if it was a Falcon 2, like 22 watts or 40 watts.
That's pretty good.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can cut you can design and buildings or bridges or modules or, you know, whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
So they've made it to where, or technology has come so far to where it's kind of feasible to have one, in my opinion, especially if you're a hobbyist or a modeler and want to kind of dip your toes in it. You're not out of a lot of money. I know for a lot of people, $200 is a lot. But for some, it's, don't buy that engine this month. Buy the laser and buy that engine next month.
Yeah, or as I said, drop Streamyard, and use that $45 to buy a loco every month.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so,
yes.
I was just going to say, Lee is waiting to jump on here.
Oh, go for it.
So I'll speak with you later today.
Yeah. I'm also on Facebook too, so you can hook me up there.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. And thanks for that explanation of your laser cutter.
Oh,
outstanding.
More than welcome.
And hope to see you again on here.
Likewise.
Cheers, mate. You're on.
Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Good. What have you been up to today?
Oh, not much. Just a bit of 3D printing again.
Yeah, how's that going?
Well, this one's a bit slow. It's 4 tanks, so it's a 4-hour print.
Oh. Yeah, well.
Without the Husky helping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay doing one. You go, oh, it's only an hour. But, you know, the more you put on there, the longer it takes.
Yeah, I mean, they're not particularly complex prints, but they are using a fair bit of the height. So with 4 of them, an hour each, then it becomes 4 hours, not an hour and a half. But
and remind me about the size of your print table.
256 by 256.
Well, that's fairly good. Hi, Andrew.
What are you doing? My husky's quite chatty. I'll give you some shut up.
There's Leopard's Tail did a 36-hour print. A friend of mine did a stormtrooper's helmet. And when he got it sussed out, it was perfect. But I think you had to do it in 5 bits.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the A1, the Bamboo Labs A1, which is slightly bigger than the Flash Forge I was going to go for, but the price point and sort of reputation was better than the Flash Forge, so I went for that in the end.
Yeah. Oh. And so, can you show us something?
Well, that's the foundation base.
Wow.
So you'll have the 8 tanks on there. I haven't got a picture of the construction. It's a guy's refinery on Thingiverse, but there's a guy done another revision of it with slightly improved pipework. So it's all sort of parts of the refinery I'm building at the minute, or adapting other industry buildings that look like they'd fit in with the sort of scene of a refinery. Hence buying all the LEDs, because if you ever see a refinery at night, they're lit up like a Christmas tree. So we've purchased a bunch more. I use AliExpress. I don't trust Temu. I know the Chinese government could get information off any of them if they so wish, but Temu's IT people were the same ones that went to court over some other company a few years ago for doing disreputable things with your data. But I've never used them, and they do sort of try some tempting marketing, but a lot of people I've noticed, sort of like a couple of the YouTubers have been sponsored by Temu with promo links and that, and a lot of people have sort of said the prices I saw they're no more competitive than AliExpress, and I've sort of had ups and downs with AliExpress, mainly because of the way they work, but on whole they're more efficient with their returns process now, especially if you're a regular user. You sort of get treated a bit better than, say, probably some generic scammer who claims they haven't received the goods. Everything's tracked now as well, because obviously they've had problems with people claiming stuff doesn't turn up, and it has. Everything's tracked now, which does have disadvantages. There's a ludicrous amount of emails come every time you buy something.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they'll send you an email. 10 minutes later, there's an email to say it's packed and dispatched to the warehouse, sorted at the warehouse, cleared for customs export. Then it's on a plane. Then 3 days later, they'll give you another update to say it's been checked into Germany and it's now being shipped to the UK. Then it's cleared customs. And it's like, I don't want to know 15 emails. I just want to track it if I'm interested, But yeah, I've had mostly positive. Some problems like the other. I don't think the video might be out yet, but I did buy like one of the Outland models, which is like, I think, a die-cut plastic flat building a balcony block of flats. And they sent me the completely wrong kit, which was about half the price of the one I'd paid for. So I done opened a dispute and instantly got a return, and was in the process of sending it back, posted it back. It went to a UK forwarding, and by the time it got to the sort of place in Leicestershire, it was money was refunded. And I bought another one from I explained to the guy, because I think they were a bit miffed, because obviously they're going to get hit with AliExpress holding their funds because of the dispute. I bought another one, and it was exactly the same error. There's obviously a mismatch with stock numbers or something. So I contacted him this time and said, look, it's the second one. You cocked up again. And, they offered me a a refund or partial refund, and I said, well, you know, the product you've sent me is half the price of the one I purchased. I would like the one I purchased. So they did send me the correct one third time round, and I got to keep the cock-up one for nothing. So
well, that's good.
that was a fair compensation. Some of them are pretty fair.
Yeah.
And I've had an issue with those wire trees I bought. They sent the wrong size ones, and I sort of said, because you can't mention that you're a YouTuber or put links in or even type that word YouTube on AliExpress's chat box, they block you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. By explaining to him that, you know, there would be some credit or not, as the case may be, with my sort of dissatisfaction or satisfaction. And he was okay that they sent me another lot of correct height trees and refunded me the other one. So I got, I think, 4 or 5 trees for nothing. I've just bought some sort of pine effect ones that have actually got flock. They're not those horrible shredded plastic ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they're under a $5 for 5 14-centimeter trees, and they're reasonable for background. You know, if you wanted to sort of do a boomer diorama tree at the front with all your time and effort, and then as you go up the hill, you go for smaller ones that obviously you don't want to put that much time and effort into or money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I bought one primo tree from the Polish guy who was at Getz. I mean, his stuff's amazing. It's up there, sort of like with Boomer, but he does it on a commercial level. Various different trees, larches and birch trees. They do look phenomenal. Price tag is as well, but I did treat myself to, I think, the second from smallest tree, which is about £14.
Wow.
But they are nice. And I sort of said to him, I said, I'm buying this one, I said, as inspiration so that I can have a halfway attempt at making something half as decent as yours for, you know, foreground trees, which is why I bought the Chinese armatures, because sort of messing around with floristry wire, and they're a couple of £3 each. And they've done it all you've got to do is unfold it and maybe paint it the right colour and put some matte medium on it to stop it from sort of shredding the sandy type paste that they put on it for the bark. Spray it and then obviously flock it or do whatever you're going to do. And they're quite impressive. I can show you one of them. I think I've got one on my windowsill.
Yeah, sure. While we're waiting, there's the trees that I made in the style of Boomer. That's using a barbecue skewer and then wire and then flocking.
Way back, I thought I'd dig the primo tree out that I bought from Getz, if I can get it out of the box. That's a bit of a feat. There's a bit of a krypton factor box to start with. But,
yeah, leopard's tail. I made an effort to get them about the right size for this type of layout, and they wouldn't be enormous in the UK, so I think they're appropriate sizes.
that's the birch tree.
Well, let me just get you on.
Let's see if I can turn the light on.
Wow. Yeah, that's a fair size trunk. Lots of needles on it.
Yeah, That's
very good.
I think that was about £14, which I'm sure it was 12 to £14 for that one. And they go up to 60 odd pounds. That's from the base to the top 15 centimeters, which is 6-inch tree. But they are nice. But yeah, you'd have to be a wealthy person to populate your layout with a load of his versus that one.
Yeah.
Strange colour choice for bark, but obviously, like I say, you need to.
Yeah, you can
see these are all made from wire.
Yeah,
but they just need sealing with matte medium.
Yeah,
paint in an appropriate colour, and then they obviously come
that's
all
what I
folded.
did. Just going to switch over here. Hang on a second. Right. Switch over. Hang on.
This is a 10-inch tree for about £4. I think they do them in twos for like £10 or £15. I just bought some. I think they're 10 or 14 centimetre ones. I think they were £11 for 5. So, sort of feeling a little bit flush, and I'm doing an AliExpress order. I'll normally go on there, and if he's got a deal on, I'll order a few more. But yeah, they need a little bit more.
So they're
doing
9 inches. That was 9 inches, that one. I need to get my plugs back in here. Yeah, it's a lot of work. 9 inches of winding takes quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they say they're worth the effort, and you can, I don't know, sit down for an hour and maybe make 3 or 4 or 5 trees if you get it off pat and go through your little assembly processes. I mean, I used to do fiddly stuff for a living when I worked at a winding company for electronics and RF chokes and things, but it can get a bit monotonous. I've got a load of copper cable, and I'm thinking, shall I strip it and get the money for it, or shall I turn it into one of these? I have got some wire to do some experimentation, different ideas and things, but all in time. Trouble is, sort of with the situation I'm in, I can't really do too much construction, because where am I going to store it? I've got to put it in an even bigger box like this. Yeah. If I unfold 15 of these trees, suddenly I've got a huge box. At the minute they're in sort of shoebox size, stored out of the way. Already this has fell off the windowsill a couple of times. It's no harm done, really, but once I've sort of put all the time and effort into it, you don't want to have it fall down and stand on it. At the minute, it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah. But, and there's Todd Armstrong in. How you doing, Todd?
Hi, Todd.
Yeah.
A bit of liquid libation.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think about my my crane train?
When was that on? Yesterday? I haven't caught up with yesterday, because, like I said, I was off broadband and I was using my phone, which was getting near its data allowance, so I wasn't really looking at anything video wise, because obviously it gobbles up the data. But I'm sort of spent today catching up, but I had to nip out this afternoon because my dad's not too well.
Oh dear.
When I got round the house, and he'd already gone into hospital, so I'm waiting for the inevitable phone call for update from my sister, but it's probably not going to be good news.
Sorry to hear that.
In the near future.
Yeah, I put this one on especially for you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I put mine on the layout. I haven't done the new one. I've put them in the back room, box up, because I got that new EFE placer crane, which is very nice. But I think, well, everyone's gone mad and bought them, which I knew they would, because we're hungry for permanent way maintenance stuff, and no one makes anything.
Yeah.
So it was going to sell, which is the only, I bought it, but it was discounted. The pre-sale price that everyone was selling it for was about, I think, $76.95.
Wow.
Its RRP is nearly £89, I think. There are a couple of shops asking full whack for it. It's not worth that money.
No.
I know people say harp on about, sprung buffers. What's the point? Because we don't use them. But it's the level of detail you expect for the money you're paying. There's no sprung buffers on it. Not the end of the world. You can't move it. It's a totally solid model, pretty much like the resin version that was available, which obviously the markets fell out of the floor for them. Now, they weren't cheap. Initially, if you could buy the resin one, then you factor in the paint and decals and everything and your time constructing it. And obviously you can make a pig's ear of it. You've got to buy another one as well. I've sort of always steered clear from, I can't remember the name of the company, but there's a company that does like a 00 scale placer track machine, but they're not cheap. They're as expensive as you'd expect to pay for a Weissman thing, which is in HO, and they're a kit you got to build yourself, a bit like the Kibri stuff. That's not cheap either.
Now, the interesting thing about this one is, I'll just put that up for a second. Look, that's got the HST 125, but it's a R098 crew coach for breakdown crane.
Yeah, I nearly bought that one, but that's people, I think, they paid £20 for that, and I sort of looked at it and thought, it's not worth £20. That's the old Hornby tooling that's just sprayed yellow. Yeah. I did actually pick the new sort of up-to-date tooling. I bought one from a local dealer off eBay, I think for about £20. Then 3 weeks later, another company on eBay was selling them for $18.99, all in.
Yeah, and it's got an interior.
Yeah, which
I
a lot
think
of the
old paid $25-30.
Yeah, so that'd be about £15, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I've sort of been accumulating bits of, BR maintenance trucks and that. I think Richard at Road and Rails was doing the trucks for $5.99. They generally go on eBay for £8-9 second hand, even if they're, as new. But when I've gone to them toy fairs at Spalding, there generally about £6 to £8. So I thought, well, that's rude not to, really. $5.99, I'll get the lot. Because I want to do sort of like a permanent way yard, so there'll be the trucks and vans parked up and all the cranes and necessary coaches. And now I picked up the Dapol limited edition yellow wagons, which I bought a couple from TMC that were TMC weathered ones, and they were £17 each. Then I was at a show and a guy was selling them for like £5.
Really?
That was when I was at Getz. I think it was at Ellis Clark, and I spotted one in the trays. They just put, huge, great rummage trays at the front of the stall. And because I paid the extra for the VIP ticket, you get a half hour earlier before the doors open to everyone else. And everyone was, same as me, straight to his stand and just rooting through. And ooh, bloody hell, I just paid £17 for one of them. I'll have that, £5. And rummaging through it, there's another one. So I got 3. And I also picked up 2 parts of the Bachman Scenecraft March station, which is the local station to me. Again, I think they were £5 and £8. So, they was a good haul as well. But then I obviously need the facilities building for the March station. And the canopies are ridiculous. They're like, you get 2 canopies, which go the opposite way to what you normally see in a British station, where the canopies run along the platform.
Yeah,
with March station, they run out.
Yeah,
to the platform at that angle.
Yeah,
and I think they're about £30 odd a pair. And I think they did do the footbridge, which is very ornate footbridge, but I have only ever seen that once. in the Scenecraft range. So they were probably so expensive, not many people bought them. I don't know. I've never seen that, or the signal box. One signal box come up locally and the guy wanted £65 for it. And he sent me an offer of 62. I'm not paying that for a resin signal box, even if it is one I want. I bought the Down and Market one for about £20 odd, which is a localist. And the Wroxham one, Wroxham near Norwich on the Norfolk Broads. That one came out, and that was a pretty penny. And I did manage to pick one of those up for about £30 odd. But yeah,
you're always good for finding a deal.
Yeah, it's the way I work. I always have done. You know, sort of years ago when I lost my job, I used to go to auctions and, you know, turn a coin, flipping stuff. And when I sort of started my other YouTube channel, we was going into homebrew beer, and Britain was very much behind the US in equipment, and you had to think out of the box when you wanted to upgrade from the 5-gallon plastic buckets. And I managed to pick up, because the auction I used to go to was fairly close to 2 US air bases.
Well, that's
Obviously,
convenient.
When they clear off back home or get transferred, reposted, a lot of the times companies go in, clear the clutter out of their houses, and it goes straight to auction. And it would turn up at 2 of the local auctions, along with a lot of the MOD stuff that was turfed out, electronic stuff that was out of date. I got a 5-gallon tub of helicopter grease. Well, that'll come in at £5.
That's what you need.
I mean, if you went to the facility store, God knows what that would actually cost. Probably £100 or more.
Yeah.
But for general purpose grease for packing your wheel bearings on a car trailer or something, yeah, I'm having that. But yeah, I picked up one of the old turkey pots, what they use for Thanksgiving, for burning the house down when they dunk a turkey in a vat of hot grease over an open flame. And a lot of the American homebrewers used to use them, and you couldn't get them over here. I managed to pick one up. Then I bought a tar burner for flat roofing and started off with gas, and then a lot of us were converting beer kegs. A lot of the guys were using heating elements out of washing machines, which were oval, and they were cutting slots like that. And I thought, I don't like this idea. And I managed to get hold of, down here, I think it's stainless steel 1.5 BSP threaded collars. And I got a guy to weld one on, and I put an immersion heater boiler element in, and I sort of moved on to that. The Chinese picked up that there was a bigger market in the US and Europe for homebrewing stuff. And a couple of UK companies started importing US made products, but it was very expensive, and I was sort of finding a way around doing the same thing. And I built my own electronics control panel with PIDs in them. When I think there was a company selling, I think it was £1,200 just for the cabinet and all the bits, and you built it yourself. If you wanted them to construct it and send it over to you wired up, it was sort of getting towards 2K. And then you've got to buy the sort of brew builder pots, which were £400-500 each. And then you got all of the stainless steel triclover valves, and starts getting very expensive. I mean, there's shelf systems now that are several £1,000s. I built mine out of beer kegs and AliExpress stainless steel fittings, most of which aren't too radioactive, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, they seem fairly good. I've been lucky with that. But
you're a very talented person.
It's the system you see on my sort of, when I'm filming in the brewery shed with my little square 8x4 or 6x4 layout. And you see all that stainless steel stuff that looks like I've got a meth lab out of Breaking Bad. That's all of the homebrew stuff I built. And I went full hog. I was buying catering tables and picking them up for a song. Sort of, I think the dearest thing in that room that I bought for homebrew was the cabinet on the left-hand side, which cost me about £35.
It's all right.
Everything else is...
So what about your brewery?
That's all in that room, which is where I have that little train layout. The biggest thing in there is the Wilf walk-in larder fridge, which is a 1,600-litre walk-in fridge. That cost me £100 from the guy who was doing some conversions at our place.
Wow.
The other big
Good
fridge,
evening, Mark Hemmeldown.
nothing from work. Hi, Mark. So yeah, everything was sort of, flip something to pay for something else, or sniff around and think out of the box, or find it cheaper. By alter. It's the same with modelling. There's a lot of stuff we pay or could pay a lot more for because it's sold as a modelling product, not just exclusive to railway, but the game inside, any scenic stuff. And then you think, well, actually, that's only ground foam. It's like there's a shortage of sea foam this year. Is it Taloxus arista, I think is the Latin name for sea foam. I did try growing it to no avail the other year, but it's a bloody Mediterranean and Arabian weed.
Yeah, I found two boxes of it
an absolute
at a wargaming store for $12 each.
Well, I thought I'd buy some off the WWF stand at Getz, and he didn't even have any. There's been a shortage this year, and what has been available is crap. Even Pete Waterman said that they haven't used any this year because the stuff's just garbage. And it is, you're 20, 25, 30 pound. I looked on Model Barn Shop Libby, and, the not branded stuff is £28 for a box, and it's not as big as the ones we get over here from Gauge Master. But, so I've sort of won't be worrying about that yet. That layout that's underneath my car ramp has got a load on it, so that'll get salvaged when I come to strip that down from my build.
Yeah, well, that's
I've saved.
So interesting because
cool.
Whenever we travel into the States, I always go to hobby huts and places like that. Now they get a wider variety of stuff than what we do in the craft stores here. But it's 30 plus cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
More expensive, right? But good stuff. See, we've had a New Durham.
Yeah, Craig. Craig.
Who else?
But yeah, I noticed in garden centres they were doing the little bags of flock, and they're like 70.
Oh, right.
And it's the same stuff as like Woodland Scenics or Javis. I bought one. I couldn't get it locally, and I ordered it. That was a Javis Scenic. I think their leaf scatter, and it really was an insult to your intelligence. The quantity they put in a bag, I know. For like £3.75 or something. I'm never buying their products again. If this is, the crap they're palming you off with, you could have just emptied a bag of tea bags and dry them out in the windowsill. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, a real rip-off and insulting, as you say.
Yeah, like track ballast, I know a lot of people are using the chinchilla sand, which is a bit fine, but I've used what they call calci sand, which is a calcium limestone crush, and I bought it from an aquatic shop. It was 10 kilo sack.
Wow.
And I think it was like £12.95. I just put it on the order because my wife had tropical fish at the time, and we were ordering like a bunch of replacement filters and stuff. And I thought, I'll get a bag of that, see what it's like. And I thought, I had a large one years ago that I used on my old original layout. And looking, being more nitpicky nowadays, it's a bit overscale. This stuff's pretty good. And the only other is I've got so much of it for 3 levels of scenic layout, all going to be the same. So I will mix it in, or obviously spray some of it to give different colours and stuff. But
so how's your layout coming along?
Well, I haven't done anything in the garage codge up at the minute. Just keeping an eye on the printer because it's making some strange noises as it's finishing off the tops. But I haven't been out there because it's sort of been preoccupied with sort of other worryings on the domestic front. Plus, it's sort of been 2 and 5 degrees above zero, so it's not conducive to sitting on a concrete floor. I have bought a cover for. I found an old office chair I've had kicking around with donkeys. I bought another cover so I can put a chair in there. I got my diesel hot air heater, and then I've got a workshop heater as well, which I can turn on to boost the room temperature up. If I live stream, that'd be like sitting next to an F-14. But I can use that to kick the temperature up in the building, and then just shut it off and just have the small diesel heater blowing hot air in underneath the layout. But yeah, but
Well, that's
I've
good.
ordered some other bits and pieces that I've been toying with for several years and never put together. Sort of MP3 infrared activated sound effects and things like that, which now I've got this layout, as long as it will stay up. I don't mind drilling holes in it and messing around with it and to experiment with a few ideas that I've sort of had kicking around on paperwork and banging around in my head. I've bought the bits now to try and make a working version, experimental prototype, as it were, for flange squeals and stuff like that. Because I know there's one, I think Trackside Mike's put one in his layout. They're about $80. And essentially, none of it is no more sophisticated than a couple of items you can buy off AliExpress for like $12.
Yeah.
You just got to do it yourself, other than, plug and play and away it goes. You've got to find a sound file and put it on a mini SD card and put a few wires in, connect an infrared sensor between a switch and do a bit of soldering. And you've saved, $70.
Yeah,
I'm into that. That's my mantra. If I got a little time and effort and I can save 50 quid, then I'll do it.
Well, Kelly's left the show, but maybe she's looking in the background, and I better say hi, otherwise she will never come back.
You might be. I'll just show you what's on the printer.
Yeah.
I've got a USB powered extension lead, so I can run 5 meters.
Wow. They look like shampoo bottles. My wife's got.
Yeah, they'd have been probably cheap to make. We've got 12 minutes left. Then I've got to print another 4, which are mirrored versions of those for the pipe work, I think. But they're all part of sort of like the cracking process in a refinery. So I've got the Walther's refinery kit, and then I've found this one online that sort of embarks on an even bigger sort of industrial site. I've got the Fowler Chemical Works, which I think over here, again, saving a buck, it's £150 nearly for the Fowler kit. I bought it from Germany for 95, so I said to the wife, guess what you're buying me for Christmas? So I just had that come in from Germany. Yes, it is a A1. But so that sort of industrial plant, and then the ones I'm building and the Walther's kit, and then I've got some of those. I think they're the Bachmann oil tanks. They're a bit toy-like, but I think, and I've got some Kibri ones as well, which are quite nice. So I'm going to build like a refinery and have all the lights and stuff, and maybe a burn-off tower with the gas, with a little
as Leopard's Tail said,
tri-coloured LED.
It's cheaper printing it if you can get the design.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I again weighed up the pros and cons. That if I guesstimate what everything I build on that printer is, what the nearest equivalent from Walther's, or you're experiencing. I've printed off a little three not story, a terraced row of shops, a bit like the Walther's Merchants Rows. They're £40 upwards per kit, and I've used 15 meters of filament. The reel of filament is 330 meters. They cost me $6.99 with free postage. So I cleaned the shop out. Yeah. I bought 2 off eBay, and they sent a little flyer in the pack saying, "Oh, look, this is a New Life charity shop coming up, 10% off." That didn't bloody work. I was on there and see them at $6.99, and I thought, well, that's nearly £2 cheaper than I paid on eBay.
Wow.
It's all, this is supposed to be grass green. I'm colourblind, but I've never seen grass that sort of colour unless it's artificial grass. But at $6.99 a reel, I don't mind. Everything's going to get painted anyway, so it doesn't really matter what the base colour is of the plastic.
Yeah.
And then they had another couple of reels of something else that was in black, and I thought, yeah, I want black. So, and they were $8.49 a reel. So I ordered 6 reels, cleaned them out. I haven't had any new stock. So I'm now on my second reel, I think, or third reel.
Wow. Check out Leopard's Tail's comment there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for terrain
incredible.
size, because obviously that's a lot larger scale than we're using it. There's a few things I've downloaded today, which I think are 124. I'm not really au fait with their scales for tabletop gaming. You see some of the stuff advertised as like 20mm. I think, well, we're 4mm to the foot. Do they mean the same thing? Is it 20mm to the foot? So you can scale some of the stuff down.
Yeah,
but
I don't know, but regardless, look at the price.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I paid £304 for my printer delivered with an extra build plate and another hot end. I accidentally cocked up. I ordered the 4mm instead of the 2mm. So then I had to go back and order a 2mm. So I ordered sort of spares that I thought I'd need. And I got another couple of plates off of AliExpress for like £5. Because I thought, well, if they get hacked up, I did cock up. I've damaged this one a little bit because I downloaded one of the it's the actual, what they call the poop bucket, where all your little extrusion waste goes in, because mine's on the edge of the table. It goes straight on the carpet. And the original sketch or whatever file was for an A1 Mini, and I didn't spot it when I sliced it. And my was going through the bed leveling process, and I thought, what's it doing there? It's normally at the end, and then oh shit, and it had scratched the surface of the build plate. So I cancelled it, realised what I'd done, and redone it. Never had no problem since. It hasn't proved an issue with anything yet. It's only a small scratch, whereas took the texture off the plate. But it's a double-sided plate anyway, so you get twice the use out of it.
Oh, that's cool. So look, I've been on here nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
More than what I thought I would, but it's been so interesting.
Well, you got to get your money's worth.
Talking with you and with Klondike. And I'm going to go and order one of his bridges. Now, I know that other enthusiasts will be waiting to get online. And we'll move over and see you on their platform.
Yeah. Well, I think there's only Anthony on it. I think it's 8 o'clock UK time, and then Dave's on, I think it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, which...
Yeah, and Barnabas Junction's on, I think, so...
Yeah, he's Thursday nights.
Yeah. All right, well, look, I'm going to check out, and thanks very much for everybody who joined in. And I might be on tomorrow too, because this is day 4 of 9. Yeah.
Well, I've got me. I presume it's working okay. I did mute the camera mic, so I've got me.
Yeah, everything's good.
Me Snowball Yeti or whatever it is, which is a bit directional, I think, but it's obviously coming.
It's always a challenge, the audio bit, right?
It almost looks professional with a pop screen, doesn't it?
Yeah, I should put a sock on mine, but anyway, it's a pretty big one, right?
Yeah, that camera, I use the external camera mic, which is...
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
That comes... I started using it because I bought it. It works quite well, but I probably don't need it, doing it at the table, but it has brought it up a little bit. But I bought it mainly because obviously when I was in the brewery, I'd put the camera near the door and I'd be standing 10, 15 foot away talking to the camera and not like I am now where you're in alongside. But I've got a nice lav mic as well, which
all right then, lads, thanks very much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
No worries.
Cheers and bye for now.
Cheers.
Wow, that was the Flying Scotsman. Welcome to Partickhill Station.